Hello everybody, my name is Woofle D, and welcome to my Undertale Yellow neutral glitch speedrun tutorial. I'm a speedrun moderator for the Undertale Yellow boards, and I am the top runner in the game. And I would just like to present this sort of like rough guide on how to go through the run. I'm not going to be like hitting every single possible topic or anything. Not gonna show off every single strat, every hard strat. Gonna give a good idea of how to get through the run, especially with all the new glitches and stuff that have been discovered over the past month. So, before we start, there's gonna be some things you need to know. You can't just go into your file, hit reset, or whatnot. You have to make sure that you're on true reset. There's some dialogue differences. You can skip the Flowey tutorial if you're on New Game Plus. Flowey's monologue before the fight is also a lot shorter, so we play on true reset. Now I'm gonna have to switching over to my desktop view real quick. If you want to know where you can access your Undertale Yellow save files, so you want to hit Windows R. It's gonna open up this, and you're gonna want to type in %local app data %. Hit enter. It'll open up this folder. And you're going to want to scroll down. Obviously, I have a lot of stuff here, but you're going to scroll down to this Undertale Yellow file. Go in here. Now, I don't have any save files in here currently, but if you want to, if you have save files already, you're going to want to delete save.save, save02.save, and temp save before every single run. You can leave controls in. This just affects the options in config menu. This has no impact on like your save status or anything. But any other files you're going to want to delete out of here. That's the most important thing. Also, another note, you're going to want to also have the auto masher as well, because mashing in this game is terrible to do manually, so we have a officially sanctioned auto masher to use during runs. If you want to download that, you can download it over here in the resources tab on the leaderboard. You can download this version, which requires the auto hotkey program. Or you can download the EXE version that doesn't require auto hotkey. And I also get a lot of questions about this as well, so if you want to stop using auto masher, like you want to close it out or you're taking a break after a run, in between runs, go to like this tray right here on your taskbar, right click like, you know, this S, or it'll be an H if you don't have it suspended. Like if you have it unsuspended, gonna want to right click on this, and then if you were just taking a break, just click suspend hotkey, and you won't have to deal with auto masher if you're typing something. Or you can or if you want to close auto masher entirely, just click exit. If you also over here in the official Undertale Yellow speedrunning Discord, which I will be linking in the description of the video, you can also find the auto masher pinned in the resource channel. Okay, right here and right here. We also have stuff like the practice mod, which I will be using for this tutorial, but it is banned for use during runs. You can also find save resources as well. I highly recommend the one I made. This contains basically every save you'll need for any of the 3 main categories. But outside of that, other than that, I think we will be good to go. So just moving some stuff around. Alright, so sorry, just moving some stuff around. Alright, so timing will begin when we press begin game here on the title screen. Ignore the timer in the corner. That's a practice mod. That's just a practice mod thing. So timing will begin right here when you hit begin game. Oh wait, shit. Sorry. I just forgot one more important thing. Oh, that's completely on me. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you record things without a script. So, this is very important. In the config menu, these first 2 options, they don't matter. I highly recommend you turn on auto sprint. Not only does this save you having to hold X yourself the entire run, it also saves time in segments where you have to carry things, so like the lab puzzle in Steamworks. I also highly recommend turning on auto fire, auto rhythm, and easy mode as well. These 3 aren't required, and you know, if you want to like have a bit more of a challenge, you can play on easy mode. All it does is you can play on normal mode. Easy mode, all it does is give you a static +3 defense. So, you know, doesn't really matter a ton. if you're confident in those fights. I keep it on just because, you know, it just makes the game easier to run, essentially. Auto rhythm as well for the Alador Fight, and then auto fire effects only the final boss. I recommend just leaving that on. These first two really don't matter, so I just have them on their default. Okay, now we can actually begin on hitting begin game. Alright, so start of the game here, very simple. Just go hold right. This is just like in regular Undertale. Hold up right going into this room. And we are now entering first Froggy Fight. Alright, so it doesn't matter what you do here. You cannot kill this Frogget. In fact, if you hack the game, killing the Frogget crashes it. So the fastest way to get through this fight, just menu left and hold Auto Masher. The Auto Masher, all it does is basically just presses Z and X every single frame. So you mash tutorials dialogue, walk up here. There's a lot of minor movement tech you can do, like doing that saves a frame. So I just focus on moving around here first. There is a bit of an important time save in this next room. You want to like follow Toriel, like that. Like Toriel's movement speed is capped at your max movement speed, so just move instead of going directly to switch. Just kind of like follow Toriel and then go up in a straight line to touch the switch. Saves a bit of time, but it's not hugely important for runs. So obviously I'm just holding Auto Masher here. You get through this. Beginning of the game, it's very simple. Things really don't start getting tough until around Dunes. So obviously once Clover, just hold up here. And then we'll be coming up on like the first actual glitch of the run. So this relies on like a little like tech from the Auto Masher. So it's just a weird quirk in the game with how it treats opening the menu with control. Sorry, my node board only shows right control. I'm using left control, so I'll just... So obviously, I'm holding control here, and then if I hold down Auto Masher, the menu just keeps constantly opening and closing. Don't remember why, but it's a weird thing. So what you can do here, as you're running up to this Flowey cutscene... actually, hold on, let me set a save state here, just so I can show it off. So what you're doing is, like, as you get to... Hold on, let me turn something on my game capture. Alright, capture cursor, yeah, just so I can show this off with my mouse cursor. So what you want to do is, like, right around here-ish, like, as you're approaching, hold on, let me just make sure, like basically right around here-ish, like, as, like, the room is opening out. What you want to do is, like, I'll just show, like, as you're running up, just go up, hold Auto Mash for a bit. Once Flowey pops out of the ground, let go of control, and then just keep moving forward. This saves a tiny bit of time, because you're moving while Flowey's walking up. Just like so, want to show it off, like, in full, like, going like this, as you go here, hold Auto Masher for a bit, hold Auto Masher and control for a bit, and then go around Flowey. This saves a tiny bit of time, especially if you manage to especially if you let go of control earlier in the animation. And as you go, just go through this room normally. This is a scripted encounter right here. You're always going to get this flyer, so flee it. And then you're going to solve this puzzle like this, like 3, 1, 2. These hitboxes here are a little wonky, so don't be dismayed if you miss a switch. It happens to everybody. These hitboxes are kind of bad. And in this next room, this puzzle, I'm just going to press the second one, then this third one. Now, as you're approaching this cutscene, you can start holding Auto Masher. You can do this for any cutscene in the game. Really easy way to just make sure you're not accidentally losing very small amounts of time to forgetting to hold Auto Masher at the start of a cutscene. So after this cutscene, just keep holding right. There'll be a scripted Panilla right here. Flee that. And in this next room, there's going to be so starting from this room onwards, this room and the next room, you're going to have to deal with random encounters. All the other rooms were small enough that you could easily get through them without getting any random encounters at all. From here on out, there are going to be random encounters. So, starting from here, there's this is a scripted sweet corn. So now, follow this path through the maze and run from any random encounters. Each random encounter loses about like 3 to 4 seconds. At least you got one right here. So yeah, you have to deal with that. Go over here, hug up against the wall, and start holding Auto Masher for this cutscene. And then right when the camera's done panning back, still holding Auto Masher, tap right and then up. And then run through here. Once you enter about this range, you don't have to deal with random encounters. A fun quirk of the scripted encounter is that around, I think it's like a 7.5 tile radius around where the encounter is, it disables your step count. That way, you know, you aren't like getting a random encounter, moving over a tile, moving over once, and then getting another encounter. So we use that to our advantage to make sure we're like minimizing the amount of random encounters we get. So like once you're around like here, you'll get it to run over, then you'll get this scripted Roram. And then coming up, we have the fight against Decibat, first major boss fight of the game, well, first mini boss. Okay, thank you, notification. So what you're gonna want to do here, go over to Act, and go down to Watch, and then just hold Auto Masher for a bit. We're going to spare Decibat. You can technically betray kill Decibat once the spare condition has been met, but it actually adds an extra turn to the Flowey fight. And that turn is longer than the amount of time you save from killing Decibat, so we spare. So after this attack, you're gonna still just keep holding Auto Masher here. After this attack, like just let go, like once you get through attacks, let go, and then menu over the Mercy, spare, and then start holding Auto Masher again. You can get a little tripped up there with Auto Masher just because it keeps going for a bit longer after. Like after you let go of it, so don't worry about that. Over here, there's gonna be another scripted encounter. Flee that. And then this puzzle. This puzzle looks hard, but the solution is actually very easy. So what you want to do is hit this one, hit this block, and then hit this block. Very easy. Those hitboxes can also be wonky, so you might have to like double back to hit one if you missed it. Take this path through the dark maze. Also, make another thing. In this room, you can find the feather. I highly recommend not picking up any armor during the speed run. As you see, I've been able to flee from all of these encounters. As long as you are wearing the patch. As you can see, my accessory is the patch. As long as you are wearing the patch, you have a 100% chance to flee every single encounter. This makes running the game way more consistent. You don't have to worry about like 50-50s every time you get a random encounter. Boss fights might be a bit harder, but in neutral, you actually gain quite a bit of love. So you'll have extra defense and extra HP that makes it a lot easier to deal with the boss fights. There's also a lot of easy safety healing you can pick up that I will be showing off. Go here. Also hold up left into this cutscene so Clover walks less. And then you can take this if you took a lot of damage during Decibat or just like not comfortable going into Dolph at full health, not full health, you can take this save right here. Then go up into the Dolph fight. This fight is also pretty easy. You don't have to do anything complicated. We are going to betray kill Dolph. So basically, we're going to get Dolph to his spare condition, and then we're going to attack him. Kind of mean, but you know, all in the name of speed. So just menu left over the Mercy, hold Auto Masher, then dodge his attacks. This is how I like to dodge this attack, just constant movement. Here, I kind of like to move in a circle. Here, go around this attack. Well, these attacks are pretty easy to dodge. There is an attack coming up that does have some minor time save to it. Here I do this attack like this. I'm holding X for Slow Soul. This would let your slow move a bit slower in battle. It's good if you want to make like precise movements. Right, so here, hug this bomb corner and then dodge these like this. This actually saves a bit of time over just dodging it any other way, because the lightning bolts have less distance to travel, so he's able to get them out faster. Then the attack attacks start looping here. Alright, after this attack, he's gonna start talking. If you want to play this safe, you don't want to accidentally, like, lose a bit of time, you can manually mash this text using ZX, Enter, and Shift. But what I like to do is I hold Auto Masher, I wait for that box to start moving again after his text before I let it go, and then, you know, menu right, fight, hit on the outer ring, it'll always kill him. Moved up here, the Flowey cutscene. It's hard to see on my no-board layout just because of how fast Automaster is, but every time I'm in a cutscene, I am holding spacebar, which is the default Automaster key. And yeah, that is Dark Ruins finished. Moving on now into Snowden. You're going to want to tap up here. You'll get caught on that bush if you're just holding right. It's, go through Flowey's cutscene. There's a choicer there. Because of Automaster, you don't have to worry. So move down here, then flee from the scripted Frostermit. So the reason we're doing this, we want to get down. We want to go on this ice. This saves a bit of time because you move a bit faster while sliding on the ice. You go through that room normally. There are random encounters there. Just run from them if you get them. So in this room, what you want to do... No, I'll just go into the previous room just to show how it works. You're going to want to hold upright into that cutscene. Camera pans less, essentially. Hold right, start holding up, and just hold upright into this cutscene. The camera pans left, saves about a second. Obviously, we have a Martlet here. Automaster her dialogue. And then, go over here into Lava Ball Puzzle 1. This puzzle is the easier of the two. You know, it's simple, just, you know, don't let it get hit. On the second ball specifically, the timing can be a little weird for that last bit. I have messed it up before, and you can and probably will mess this puzzle up at some point. Here, just hold up through this room. If you're taking that corner tight, be warned there is the collision there is a bit weird, so you can't take that corner as tight as you think you could. And go up here. This is a scripted Somnatot. And then come up the Mo cutscene. I hold like up left here just so I don't like run into him. From here, you have the option to buy the Hot Pop. It is faster to do that just because you're just holding Automaster all the way through. But if you don't want to buy the Hot Pop, whether you want to save your money, when the stand appears, let go of Automash. If you want to save your money for something else. Or you're just worried about, like, if you really do need armor for a fight or something. But, normally you just hold Automaster through it. Get you a free healing item, essentially. No reason not to turn that down. Flee from the scripted no cone. And up here, there's going to be a cutscene with the male whale. Obviously, automash through this. And then we're going to be coming up to the shufflers here. Whole automash going into this, so you can interact with them as soon as possible. And then do the shuffling minigame. The ball is placed in a random place every time. There is no consistent way, so just pay attention, essentially. I have lost runs to not paying attention during this. Hold automatic for a bit after every time because they do have dialogue. And the last one. Alright, I got left all 3 times, okay. but it is placed in a random spot every single time. The honeydew. Ignore the inn. You don't even have money to buy the arm. You don't really have much money to buy anything there anyway. All right, in this room, hold left the moment you enter. Yeah, you have a Martlet cutscene here, and then once you exit the screen transition, hold right, go back in, and just tap up a few times, and that just puts you perfectly on cycle to just not have to do the puzzle. It is probably the funniest strat in this game. Alright, so flee Trihecta, another scripted encounter. Alright, of course I get another encounter here. Hold upright when entering this room, just movement optimization. Alright, and now you're coming up on, unironically, one of the hardest puzzles in the game. This puzzle screws up everybody. Like, do not worry if you are not able to get consistent at this puzzle. Nobody is 100% consistent at this puzzle. Even the top level runners mess this puzzle up. So this is how I like to do it. So for this first one, do it like this, wait for the ball, and then I just hold up once it starts reaching the bottom of that. And I start setting up for the second one here. You want the second ball to lose speed. The first one's easy to do. The second one is where everyone struggles. You want that second ball to start losing speed at some point for my setup. So I have it set up so where, like, that first bar is, like, slightly misaligned so that the ball will bump on it, essentially. So, works out. Obviously, do that. Once it gets on that one, I start lining up that third one to be sort of, like, flush with the curve. As long as it loses a little speed, that should work every time, but that puzzle is really inconsistent. Some days it's just really mean, so, like, don't worry if you mess it up. You come up here. If you really want any safety healing, you go over to this bottom bench, hold on mash for a bit, you get the honeydew pancake. And then also if you're really low health from really just any point from Dark Ruins, you can save right here at Flowey. Alright, now coming up, Martlet Fight is sort of complicated to explain, but basically we're going to confuse her as a spare. That's the quickest way to end this fight. So, automash this text. Be really careful with Automasher here. Let go of it the moment the fight starts. Let go of it the moment the fight starts. And then manually mash this text. So what you're going to want to do, spare, manually mash this text because there's no attack, and then fight, hit the outer ring. Now you can start holding Automash through her dialogue. This attack is random. The amount of feathers you get here is random. So there is time loss here, but I wouldn't worry about it too much starting out. Alright, after fighting her once, go back over the spare, and now you can just hold Automash her through for the rest of the fight. This is the fastest way to spare Martlet. Alright, so it'll be a round after this attack is the final attack. So, I'll pause after this attack. Alright, so, once you spare Martlet here, she's going to start talking. Don't hold Automasher through the entirety of her text. There's a weird quirk. So, when she stops talking, let go of Automasher. For some reason, if you were holding Automasher during those pauses, the pauses will just start getting longer, essentially. I don't know why, but just let go of Automasher whenever she stops talking there. And then press it again when she starts talking again. Alright, so another cutscene here. And then talk to Martlet. You can talk to her from pretty far away, so just hold Automasher while you're walking up to her, essentially. I really should have gotten a drink before starting the recording. Actually, I'm actually gonna go grab something real quick now. My throat's getting really dry. But just enjoy Martlet saying hi to you for a minute. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so yeah, this cutscene, hold auto mash. Obviously, there are choices here. It doesn't matter. Auto mash goes through them automatically, so there's really no reason to try and select another one to see if it's faster. And right about here, the text will start. This text will start progressing automatically. So if you need to, like, you know, check your phone or something, this is a good time to, like, check your phone or whatever. You know, maybe look at Discord. You know. This cutscene, right here, it's entirely automatic. Alright, once this cutscene, start holding Auto Masher again. Once the screen faces black here, start holding Auto Masher. Martlet does have some dialogue here. Alright, so there is another healing item you get here. Walk over to this chest, auto mash, you get Trail Mix. I don't normally recommend picking up Trail Mix. It only heals like 13 HP. Not a huge help at the level you're at. So, hold right here. Smash without dialogue, automatically saves the game and heals you. Of course, if you want to, you can check to see if Gerson's here. He's basically this game's version of Gaster, except he's a lot more common. Supposedly. I've only gotten him once. And walk out here into dunes. So from here, the run starts getting a bit more interesting. Although things are still simple at first. So, here on this bridge, you'll get the scripted Dune Bud, flee from that. And then, you're going to want to go through this room, hold up a bit so you don't walk into the fence. Then you can still get random encounters. Alright, so just save before your transition. The next two rooms, if you've played the game, you should know, these rooms have sandstorms that go in. It's a consistent cycle. They stop and start at the same time, essentially. So, I'm going to show off the easy cycle, essentially. There's a hard cycle and an easy cycle. I haven't learned the hard cycle, and it is a pretty tight window to get, so I recommend just doing the easy cycle. It really doesn't lose that much time. Of course, I get a thank you, game. Thank you, game, for giving me an encounter right there. So, go through here. You gotta go right here. You cannot skip this cycle. You have to stop here. Alright, go through here. You can move in this little, like, darkened out area. Skip going through here and get to right here. You can move up a bit. And then you're gonna want to take the bottom path here. It is faster by a lot. So just hold right. Hide in here. Hide here, and then we want to hide here. You can move down a bit. This hitbox goes out a lot farther than you think. Also, don't cut that corner too close, because that NPC standing right there, he's terrible, bad. We hate him. He has a really dumb hitbox, and you can get caught on him and caught by the sandstorm because of it. So you can take that turn a bit wide just to avoid him. So coming up here, flee from the scripted Sir Slither. And then watch this cutscene. In the next room, there are going to be more falling tumbleweeds. Yes, they are tumbleweeds. So, I'm just gonna say here just in case I mess it up. So, hold right a bit and then start holding down. And then once you see that set, like that third set right there, go up and go through the gap. It's a lot easier than it looks. Flee from that scripted Cacophony, and then tap up a bit here, and then we're gonna grab the flint, and then no, we are not using the flint on the elevator. I get that question a lot. You're going to use it as an equipment, so if you want to, you can go ahead and equip the flint now. I equip it a bit later. There is a better spot you can equip it. So when you enter the mines, you actually have to interact with the elevator before you can grab the pickaxe. So interact with the elevator. I can walk up. I just walk up, auto mash it. Although be careful, that can cause you to, be careful using Auto Masher on the elevator, essentially. It can cause soft locks. If you really, really need armor, you can pick up the buckle right here. I don't, although, quick note, if you are picking up the buckle, you can't Auto Mash it. As you can see, if I'm Auto Mashing it, it's not picking it up. I don't really know why, but it's just something with the choicer. So you have to, like, manually mash to pick it up. So, walk up to this NPC. Be very careful here, because we're going to take the quiz, and you only have one shot at the quiz. If you mess up, your run is dead. So, elevator. So I just do it like this. Then we answer the quiz. I take my mashing very slow here. So, Alfie's, Magic, 2. And once you answer 2, you can hold Auto Masher again. Alright, go out of the room, and then I recommend here, do not touch Auto Masher during this. It has some really weird properties with this cutscene that can cause soft locks. So just interact with the elevator, tap up, select the pickaxe, and then once that dialogue is gone away, you can start holding Auto Masher again. And from here, we have a short break. A little short break while you ride the elevator with this guy. Alright, you can ignore this save point, you know. You've run away from every battle, so. Alright, from Bowl. However you pronounce it. Alright, so, minecarts 1. This puzzle is really easy to do fast. So, just immediately interact with this orange one, and while it's going, you can press that one 3 times, press that one once, press that, interact with this one right here, press the green one, and then while you're waiting for the minecarts to get into place, you can equip the flint. You have to wait on them, so, you know, that's the best time to do it. And then these rocks fall randomly. So I like to hug the bottom of the room. That's the most easiest way I found to find them, but to dodge them. But these rocks fall randomly. You can just get caught by them. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And then interact with this minecart. And now we are coming up on like basically the first actual major skip of the game. In the next room after the short cutscene, there is the second minecart puzzle, and that puzzle is bad to do. It is really complicated. If you want to do it fast, the cycles are really tight. The hitboxes are really jank. The hitboxes for the switches are really jank. It sucks to do. So I really do recommend just learning this skip. It will save you a ton of pain. So we're gonna get out. And then there are 2 ways to do this upcoming skip. So I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna show you the save method first. This is how I personally recommend you do it. So interact with these 3 one time each. Interact with the orange minecart. And then interact with this once so that the rail is now offset. And then interact with this 3 times. Touch this blue minecart. And then interact with this once. I'm actually gonna let it go back because I do want to show off this. So what you basically want to do, and it's hard to show this off in real time just because of how it works, but basically you're gonna want these 2 minecarts to basically bump into each other, and then as they're about to touch, you want to interact with the orange minecart. This will somehow basically derail it and push you out of bounds. So I'm gonna show it off. So do it like this. And once this one passes by, interact with this one, run over to the back here, and then right as it is about here. Okay, I timed that one poorly. I think it was a bit early. I think that was early. The timing here is really finicky. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Like that. Basically, once they're out like that, you can go out and around, and then enter the screen transition, and you skip the minecart puzzle. I highly recommend learning this strat just because regular minecarts 2 puzzle is not fun. I do not like it. So that's the easy way. That is honestly how I recommend you learn it, doing it like that. There is a harder but faster setup you can do as well, and this is the one I do in runs. So I'm gonna show it off like this. I interact with that first. 1, 2, 3. Once it gets past here, I'm gonna interact with this. Interact with this 3 times. And then interact with that while it's bumping, and then Okay, messed up the timing there, but... And yeah, that one is faster, and if you mess it up, and if you mess up the clip itself, it also gives the blue minecart a shorter track, so you're losing less time per attempt, essentially. But that one is a harder to set up just because the hitboxes are obviously still jank, and you have a lot stricter of a time limit and can get hard punished from messing up. Specifically, like, switching the blue minecart track at the right time. Which is why I recommend you learn the safe setup first. So, I'm gonna get on this elevator. When you step onto this elevator, that's also another good time to equip the flint, just because you have to wait. Although, keep in mind, the menu will automatically close once you're in place. So, hold up here, go into this Flowey cutscene, automatic text. This also gives you a free heal, if you let Flowey save, so you don't need to interact with the save point at all afterwards. And then, gotta make sure I have everything equipped correctly. Yes, I do have flint on. Gonna come up on the Alador Fight. And obviously, we are level 5. We got that from killing Dolv. So, because we are level 5 and have flint equipped, we are going to actually do quite a bit more damage. And that's actually gonna make killing Alador exponentially faster than just doing the spare version of the fight. So, hold auto mash. And because I have auto rhythm turned on also, I can safely hold auto rhythm through all of his dialogue. If you have auto rhythm off, holding auto mash during this will get you hurt. So that's definitely why I recommend turning on auto rhythm. It also just makes the fight easier. So, we're going to kill him. Okay, I messed that up. I'm losing a turn now, I think. Of course. Recording curse. You're gonna want to not do that, but... I'm skill issuing so hard. What the heck, man? There we go. Jeez, I'm losing so much time now, but I'm not actually speedrunning, but, you know, don't do that. Try to hit all center. I'm definitely losing a turn now. But, you know, these things happen. Luckily, like, the ranges in this fight are very generous, so unless you whiff like I did, it's very easy to finish this fight optimally. And also, since we're doing this fight fast and killing him, we also only have to deal with the easy attacks, so... And obviously there's my turn loss. That last turn would have ended the fight. As you see, I whiffed that badly and I'm only losing like a turn, so... Also, another thing to note, whenever an enemy's name is yellow, whether that be because you hit their spare condition or they're low on health, your next hit, no matter where you hit on, as long as you don't miss the hit itself, no matter where you hit on the circle, essentially, on the reticle, it will always kill. So, you know, you can just, okay, thank you. I forgot I was actually on the name and not in the fight menu. Whatever. Top runner of the game, by the way. You know, you can just do that. Alright, now we have the bag. Congratulations, you just achieved the punch card. So, the bag. This we're going to be using it a lot. We're not going to use it we're not going to be using a lot of the bag tech immediately. But, I'm just going to show it off. Just basically show off the basic of the bag, just because we're not going to be seeing that for a bit. I think it's just best to go ahead and explain it out of the way right now. So assume on, like, the pixel next to me, there's going to be a cutscene. So, I'm standing here, so normally this is how you skip a cutscene with the bag. So, go to an item, I'm going to use the hot pop because it's at the top of my inventory, go over here, go to drop, menu over to no, and then hit Z, and then followed up by C very quickly. So, now, as you can see, I have movement while the menu is open. So, menu down the bag, and then, you know, press the direction you want to go. It's like, obviously, the cutscene's on the next... If I say the cutscene's on the next tile, press right. Press right and Z at basically the same time. And that's basically how you skip cutscenes. The most important thing to know is just getting movement with the menu open, which we do by dropping an item and then selecting no. You can also do it off of yes, but obviously I don't recommend trying that just because it's very risky and you're losing items as you do it. So the most important thing is just learning how to get movement with your menu open. And actually, we're going to be using the bag right here. Not the way I just showed you, though. Basically, just walk onto the elevator, open the bag, wait for that noise to happen. As you see, you have movement with the elevator, on the elevator, and then hold down right. Don't walk into the screen transition. You can, it does save time. However, you will have to listen to the elevator noise for the entire rest of the run. And I do not recommend that. That is not a fun experience for your ears, especially because there are no music kill switches. So you will just listen to that for the entire rest of the run. Flee from this encounter. And then we have a Martlet cutscene going up here. You may think, why don't you skip it with the bag? We can't. Like, well, we can, but you can't. The moment you enter Wild East and start that first cutscene, the game will automatically crash because Martlet isn't in your party. So obviously grab Martlet. Go through here. Got a lot of movement here. All right, there is another glitch you can do once you enter this next room. I'm gonna save at the screen transition. Basically, we're going to hit the cutscene trigger and just move up as far as we can. We can't actually skip the cutscene because the Feisty 5 are already loaded in and have solid hitboxes, so we can't actually walk through them, unfortunately. But if we move up during the cutscene and basically get right in front of them, that does decrease the amount of distance they have to walk, which optimally saves about, I think, 10 seconds. The only problem, this is what we call, like, an up bag. Basically, hitting the bag trigger while you're holding up. Normally, with most bag triggers, you can, like, go up right before it, you know, get your movement, and then just tap down. However, with an up bag, you can't buffer up to it because when you press up, you'll menu up to mail. So, So with this one specifically, this is why I say just because up bags are kind of inconsistent sometimes. So basically, I'm gonna go up like right. Basically, right around like this line right here, like where that building starts. This line right here is where the cutscene starts. So I'm just gonna load my save. Gonna go in, tap up a bit so I don't accidentally walk into the menu transition. Get movement, menu down to talk, and then just hold up. Okay, I did that one too early. Up bags are kind of inconsistent for me. You'll know you got it if you open the bag on that trigger and you hear Martlet's dialogue. So just press X, move up. As you can see, they're all here. Mooch is currently standing inside of Ace, but you know, I don't judge. And then just start holding auto mash. If you don't want to do that trick just because up bags are kind of dumb, you don't have to. That's definitely something you can save for once you start getting more consistent at runs and need to start getting those time saves. Also, funny music mod I have here. Don't worry about it. Shout out to AI Undertale Yellow. Wonderful. So yeah, just hold auto mash through this cutscene. You cannot skip it, and your movement has already been locked. So yeah, there's a lot of cutscenes in Wild East, so there's not that much to do here in terms of interesting movement and glitches. Just hold auto mash, essentially. There's actually something I do want to talk about. So obviously with the bag, we can skip cutscenes, a lot of cutscenes. However, you can't skip every cutscene. Obviously there are cases like with the Martlet cutscene where the game will crash later because of something we skipped. However, some cutscenes as well also have what we like to call fake Clover. Basically, anytime Clover themselves moves in a cutscene, like, you know, whether they have their own unique animation or just moving around, the game creates a fake Clover and makes the real Clover invisible. As long as fake Clover exists, the game is teleporting the real Clover to fake Clover's position every single frame. So in cutscenes that have a fake Clover, we can't skip them. There's nothing we can do about it. So that does slightly limit us. So obviously once this cutscene's over, I want to walk out, hold auto mash again through Soroba's dialogue. Then go in. There is a very dumb, stupid skip here you can do, where you can like get movement with Starlo's text box open and go to the start of the room to skip having to walk, but it's stupid and can soft lock you very easily. So I highly recommend not even like looking at it. Nobody does that trick currently. It only saves a second anyway, so just go up and then auto mash through all of Starlo's dialogue. Obviously, another cutscene here. Not much you can do. So just sit back, you know, while you're holding auto mash, or maybe like check your phone in your other hand, you know. Or if you're like me, you can just sing along with the funny iCarly music mod. There are obviously more cutscenes here. Get to listen to this absolute banger for a bit. And then there's a gun tutorial coming up, basically just showing you how the wild revolver works by shooting the dummies. Basically, what you're going to want to do is, obviously you don't want to hold auto mash or else you'll miss and lose a bit of time once the battle starts. So, what I like to do is, just because there's text at the start, hold auto mash until the hat starts falling. Basically, once you see the hat start falling or hear the, like, little doo noise, just like auto mash. It doesn't matter how your shots land, as long as you don't miss, so you can just do that. Hit once, and then just start mashing enter. Manually mash through this text, and then just repeat. Most important thing here is just don't use auto mash outside of the beginning there, or else you'll just miss. Obviously, more cutscenes here. Strober's gonna like trauma dump a bit, I guess. Gonna get your new hat. This hat's supposed to increase your defense on easy mode. It doesn't. I don't know why, but it doesn't. And then, despite the fact that Starlo is here, and there is no other cutscenes until the next mission, you have to leave the bar. Leave the bar, and then immediately walk back in. I don't know why you have to do that. It's kind of stupid, but it's whatever. And now we're gonna come up on the Duel here. So, once Clover and Starlo start moving, let go of auto mash. If you hit it too early, there is dialogue there. I have messed that up before. And then just pay attention for the draw. Ever played Samurai Kirby before, or Kirby on the Draw? It's basically just that minigame. The draw does actually take a random amount of time to show up, so you can technically lose time to that. Gonna hold up right here, immediately walk back into the saloon. Interact with Starlo to start the third mission. More cutscenes. Yippee. This is probably the most, other than like right before the Flowey fight, this is the most cutscene heavy portion of the run. And currently we have no way to skip any of this. We have theoretical skips, but they just barely don't work. So, the trolley problem. There is actually a faster option here, and it's not the one you think it is, actually. So, save the others. No, this is not a bit. Killing Ed is faster, because I'm not sure why. There's a camera pan in saving Ed that is not there in saving the others, and despite the fact that saving the others has an unskippable text box that doesn't exist in saving Ed, it's still faster by about a second. I don't know why. I liked killing Ed anyway because I found it funny, especially with the gray area line that will always show up, but just basically, it was kind of went by fast, so I wasn't able to explain too much, but once you see this, like, basically slide in, let go of auto mash, and then menu right once the menu shows up. Now, what you're going to do here, I do this for safety. After this, I talk to Flowey to save and heal, because the mini-boss against the Feisty 4 is coming up. And this fight is actually genuinely kind of challenging if you aren't used to it. So, I just say pay attention to my movements here, essentially. You can't kill these guys, so just spare. The fight is the same amount of turns. So, just hold spare. And just pay attention to my movements here. This fight is actually genuinely pretty challenging if you aren't prepared. That's because some of the attacks are a little stupid to avoid. So just pay attention to my movements. Oh, okay. Thank you. This attack is random, and its difficulty to avoid does kind of depend on which attack you get, so do that. This attack is definitely kind of hard to avoid. A little weird. Okay, if you get caught by Ed's hands here, it actually saves a second, but I don't recommend doing that because that's extra damage you're taking in an already hard fight. I make this look easy, but I've had to put a lot of practice in this fight, especially for true pacifist runs, where you have to do this but with 20 health. And optimally no armor as well. So, this attack, I go to the corner, like this side right here, and then I basically make an infinity sign around these. And Mooch attack, this is actually one of her easier attacks. Funnily enough, this is easier than her first attack. Alright, for the first combo attack, I like to bait out... Yeah, so I go up to this corner and bait out Ed's hand. Getting caught here does not save time. Alright, this next attack. This is the hardest attack in the fight. The next attack, hardest attack in the fight. Honestly, if you are not confident, go into this fight, go into this attack at full health by using either like a healing item, or something, you know? This attack is really hard, and I have only ever no-hit this attack once. Yeah, as you can see. But luckily, that attack is the end of the fight. That is the final attack. So yeah, that fight is definitely pretty challenging, especially if you want to do it without using any healing items. Or if you're wanting to run TPE as well. Obviously, I'll master this dialogue, and then I ignore the save point here because there's another save point right before the Starlo fight that's better to use. If I come out of this with high enough health, I also don't heal going into Starlo because I'm pretty good at that fight. So, you know, there's this save point right here. Save there. And then, unfortunately, you can't skip the Starlo fight. It starts with a fake Clover. Even with no clip, you can't skip this fight. Which is good. I love this fight. This fight has one of my favorite tracks in the game as well. And also, Starlo is my favorite character, so... Yeah. So, obviously, once you immediately start moving, the fight won't start until he does. And then you're going to want to attack Starlo every turn. Try to hit crits. Crits, luckily, aren't frame perfect in this game. But, obviously, they take a bit to get used to. So... Now, this attack, you can just hold up and you don't get hit. You can do, there are two other attacks you can do this with as well. Also get into a habit of holding Auto Master after you finish your attacks to skip dialogue. For this attack, you can basically just hold up after that first dynamite is thrown. Sometimes if it comes from high up, you'll get hit by it, so kind of just wait on that one before you hold up. Okay, the horseshoe attack, you know, I dodge it like this. Okay, that you have to move out of the way of that dynamite. But now you can just hold up. Alright. For this next attack, you have to be, during the orange ones, you have to be holding a direction during it. So you could be not moving, but as long as you're holding a direction, you won't take damage. Same with the blue one. As long as you aren't holding a direction, even if you are visibly being dragged back to the center of the box, you won't take damage. And then because I hit all crits, this attack is easy. You know, you just move out of the way slightly. Because I hit all the crits, the fight will end here. You can actually miss one crit, I think, and still get the fight this fast. But if not, you'll usually be either ending it on the next attack or the attack after that. And that is actually the last boss fight we will be directly fighting until Flowey. Because the run actually gets way more interesting now. We're out of cutscene jail. We don't have to deal with many fake Clovers anymore. So, I just want to say this. There is an up bag you can do here. Saves like 5 seconds, I think. I missed it, but, you know, just to show it off. While you were moving up, you can menu down. Up has priority over down. So, you know, I like to... And then obviously you skip that cutscene. If you don't want to skip that cutscene, you can just walk through it. I don't actually really know where the actual trigger is. It's just kind of like vibes for me. So you don't have to skip. That one only saves like 5 or 6 seconds, I'm pretty sure. And thankfully, that up bag is also one of the last in the run, so you don't really have to worry about them much from here on. All right, enter here. You have a cutscene. I like holding up left immediately and then let go of Auto Master when I start moving, so I don't accidentally interact with the object in the center. All right, this first puzzle. This one's actually pretty easy. Basically, just hold right until the little pink liquid is slightly above that white line, and then just hold left. That is it's easy, quick. And then you can just hold right. You can walk directly behind this. You don't need to go around it or anything. And now, this one's a little harder. It can be a little bit more finicky if you're trying to do it optimally. So what I like to do is I like to immediately fill up that circle one by holding up, and then start filling up this bottom one. Then you tap up, right. It's a little weird. You might have to do like some extra taps every now and then, but that's how I like to solve it. Alright, you can ignore this save point. There aren't going to be even any battles for a while. Interact with this track, interact with that switch, and then, you know, banger starts playing. I love Meltdown. So, you know, the game gives you ample time to jam out to this banger, which is great. This is probably my second favorite song. And definitely my favorite area theme by a long shot. So, walk up through here. Alright, coming up we have the first Vince puzzle. There are 3 different ways you can do this. First, I'll show you the safe method, and also, as I like to call it, the brute force method. So I'm going to save here so I don't mess up the cycle. Just walk through, and just hold left. You'll get hit by that vent right there, so you have to dodge things. And then just continue holding left. And move down here. You don't have to, but I do that for safety. And yeah, that's the easiest way to do that puzzle. It does lose a bit of time because you do get hit by the vents. But, you know, it's very easy to do, and that's why I call it the brute force method, because you just hold left. So, other way to do this is the menu buffer method. Because you can menu buffer over vents and they won't hit you. That one is slightly faster, although if you only have like 1 healing item or something, or you don't have like any items left, you can accidentally eat your healing item, accidentally change your ammo, equip armor if you have that for safety. Just because Automaster isn't perfect. So sometimes there will be like, the inputs will be a little more spaced out. So I can recommend doing that one. That one definitely is pretty easy. Just do the control automash method that I mentioned at the beginning of this guide. And then the third way is the hardest and basically, I think basically the most optimal way to do it. There might be some like more optimal cycle that I don't know of. So basically do it like this, so you know. Once you're about to hit this third one, okay, messed it up. Basically just press C and then X, essentially. Basically like that. As you can see, you heard the menu, and then I immediately close it with X, so you know. Basically like that. CX, CX, CX. That counts as a menu buffer, so you won't get hit by the steam. And it does offset the cycle just a bit, which is why I moved down at the end there to avoid that. This is the hardest method. Honestly, like, I don't fully recommend going for it. I mean, like, worst case, you know, you can just back it up into like the menu buffer version if you get hit, but it is a lot easier than it looks. So, when you are starting out doing runs, I highly recommend saving here, because the first major skip of the run is coming on. I'm not going to save there because I have the practice mod save button. Tap up here to get onto the rail. And then we have the first Axis cutscene coming up. So there are 2 ways you can do this. Okay, the trigger, as you can see, is right about here. So hold on, let me just menu buffer up to it. Yeah, next trigger, the next tile, that is the cutscene. So there are 2 ways you can do this, and this applies for every single bag skip in the game. So we'll load my save. So the first way you can do it is by menu buffering. So buffer on to. Okay, no, that went one too far. Basically, buffer on to right. Okay, I keep misaligning myself because I'm thinking too hard. This is why I do the other method. Okay, so yeah, right here. So basically, you know, Clover is about a little overlapping with this pole. And then do the setup. Menu down the bag, and then press left and Z. As you see, the cutscene started. The other way you can do this, and this is a more advanced method, I do it because speed, and also I'm used to it now. And then just... That's basically the stopless method. I don't recommend learning stopless at first, although if you are practicing up bags a lot, you will get better at stopless, and that's when I... So if you're starting to get good at up bags, that's when I recommend doing stopless for other bags. But when you're starting out, I recommend just menu buffering up to it, and then doing the setup. So obviously gonna want to go up to right here, and be very careful with this door. Automaster Axis dialog, press up, and then immediately start holding down left. The reason you want to do it like that is because if you hold up, you will automatically re-enter the door transition, which will put you back into the cutscene, and then when that cutscene ends, the game soft locks. So basically, like, that's why I say, like, tap up to walk into the transition, and then immediately start holding down left. So obviously, now your menu is a walking soft lock button, because the game still thinks you have a dialog box open. So Easiest way to get rid of that, go up, interact with a save point. Now your menu is back. You also want to go and interact with the save point anyway, because there is another trick coming up in the next room. So, and I do recommend saving there, because this next trick, if you mess it up, it can crash the game. So, save right here. So, this next trick is called Vents 2 skip. It skips having to do Vents 2. It saves a ton of time. Don't have to go all the way over the Vents 2. You don't have to watch the cutscene when you press the button. You don't have to go all the way back. Just makes it really easy. So, what you want to do, menu buffer to right about here, I think. Yes. So, right here, we're like, as you can see, Clover's like overlapping a bit with this upwards platform. And you can also do this one stopless. I won't show that just because it's basically the same deal as stopless for all the other bag tricks. Just once you get close to the trigger, open the bag. So do the setup. And then you're going to want to leave the bag open here. Leave the bag open. And this is where the game can crash. Wait for this text to show up. And then hold auto mash. And then once you start, when you get movement, then you go. Because auto masher can be a little finicky, if auto masher closes the bag too early, the game crashes. Because you automatically, I'm pretty sure it's because you automatically interact with the manta ray again, which puts up a second text box, which then crashes the game. So if you want to play that safe, you can just mash Z and enter over the text until you start moving on. Or you can just reload the game if it crashes. So what you want to do here is basically press up and left. And then once these arrows show up, let go of left. And that'll put you into screen transition. And then here, press left again, hold up a bit so you go to the screen transition. And here you can just walk up here. Okay, I didn't mean to do that, but you don't want to do that. You just want to press left again. I just accidentally tapped right. And then press left to dock. And there. That is Vents 2 skip. I highly recommend learning it. The setup is pretty easy. The crash potential is very scary, especially if you have a first try Vents 2 in your PB already. But honestly, I do think it's worth learning. So obviously, if you want to, you can interact with this save point here. Save for the upcoming Axis chase. All right, so there's a strat I'm not going to be showing off, and I forgot to mention this earlier. With some of these skips, as you noticed, during that first Axis cutscene, Enter Axis wasn't playing. I've removed that file from the game. You're allowed to do that by the rules because it doesn't make things any faster or slower. But because when you skip that cutscene, the game doesn't kill the music properly, so it would just continue playing. That's why I've removed enter_axis.ogg from the files. The same also applies if you want to like do a next skip. I'm not gonna do it just because like it is kind of hard. And if you mess it up, you will soft lock in the next room because your menu's gone and you can't do the next skip. So, but you can like get movement early during the first Axis chase with the text box open, and then close it during the screen transition. That will cause Axis chase to start playing for the rest of the run. So if you wanted to start doing that strat, which I don't really recommend, it doesn't save too much time, and obviously does have the risk of soft locking or losing a ton of time if you mess it up. But do keep that in mind if you want to start learning it. If you do want to learn it, I recommend looking at like high-level world record runs because those definitely have that skip in there. But if not, just walk into the trigger, activate Axis dialogue, and then begin the chase. The chase is actually a lot easier than you may think. Diagonal movement is the key here. Diagonal movement gives you a ton of speed compared to Axis. So especially around these corners, do like diagonal movements. And as long as you don't like literally like bonk into any walls for a bit too long, you should just stay like way clear of him. So yeah, the chase is honestly not as bad as you think it would, especially if you're used to like a casual playthrough where it got caught a lot. All right, coming up here, we have the next skip, Chase 2 skip. So, the visual cue you can use for this. So you see these like little like squares right here on the railing. You want to get to the 4th square right about here. So like right about there, that fourth square on the railing, want Clover to be lined up with that. Yeah, right here. You want Clover to be lined up with this. And then set it up. Menu down the bag. Wait for Access's dialogue to show up here. Wait for Access. If you don't, then you'll still have to do the chase. You'll just move a bit farther into the room. So once Access's dialogue shows up, press X, and then just walk forward. This saves about, I think, 15 to 20 seconds, because obviously you don't have to do the chase, and also you don't have to watch that cutscene at the end. And then your menu's the soft lock button again. Luckily, there's a Flowey cutscene coming up to just automatically give us our menu back. And now coming up, there's actually going to be a bit of a split here for how I'm going to structure this guide. So, let me just set a save state right here real quick. There we go. Alright, so there are two things you can do here. You can either do greenhouse skip, or you can do regular gardener skip. I recommend starting out, you just do gardener skip. Greenhouse skip is a little risky because you're doing it off of a scripted encounter, which means if you mess it up, you're kind of screwed because you can't get a scripted encounter twice. So when you're starting out, I recommend just learning regular gardener skip. And that's what I'm going to show off first. So, which is why I'm going to reload that save later. So just go through here. Run away from the random encounter. Go through here. You can brute force this one pretty easily. Just don't get caught on the corners. You'll only get hit once. Just like with Vince 1. And yeah, that one's pretty simple. There is a faster way to do it, but I don't actually know it just because I do greenhouse skip. You can get random encounters in this room. Just run away if you get one. There are also a few healing items you can pick up here, although I don't really recommend it. There are actually no more fights for the rest of the game until Flowey, where you can't heal. So, if you want to, if you're afraid of messing it up, you can just take the save here. But basically what you want to do, you see this box, so if you interact with it, it pulls up this. That counts as a cutscene, and when it ends, it'll give you your movement back. So if you stack that up on top of another cutscene, you can get your movement during the cutscene pretty easily without having to use the bag. Basically, it's basically the closest we have to an actual regular vanilla Undertale skip. So how you set it up is, get the regular menu movement, menu down the bag, interact, and then exit out of the bag. Keep this text box right here. And once you hit the trigger, as indicated by that noise, just hold auto mash. And there, you skip Gardener. This obviously is about like a minute and a half over fighting Gardener regularly. However, if you want to like play this optimally, you're going to want to do greenhouse skip. So obviously, as you saw when I walked through there earlier, there was a scripted goosick at around the midpoint of that walkway. We are actually going to take advantage of a quirk. While you are transitioning into battle, you don't have collision, essentially. And because Clover is persistent throughout every room, meaning the game doesn't have to destroy and recreate Clover every single room, it just saves their position. You can actually use that to sort of just clip out of bounds, essentially. So, how I like to do it is, and you can't really buffer this one in the traditional sense. So, the encounter shows up right about here, right under that little like black spot on the vents. So what you want to do is, this is like how you sort of buffer it. Can't really traditionally buffer it, but get your movement, menu down the bag, and then just sort of like, once you're like right about here essentially, like once you're like sort of lined up with the bottom, tap down and Z. So I'm going to explain this first and then show it, just because it's kind of a lot of things you do in quick succession. Basically, you want to tap down and Z, and then keep the bag open until basically you start seeing the soul flash go to the corner of the screen. Close the bag, and then hold left for a bit, and then flee the encounter. So, I'll show it like this. Basically, once you hear like the close out of the bag and start holding left. And then menu to flee. And as you can see, you are now out of bounds. So from here, you can just enter that screen transition from the back. And then enter this screen transition from the back. And now you're back in bounds, and you skip the entirety of even having to go to greenhouse. That saves about, like, I want to say about 45 seconds over just doing gardener skip, with the caveat of you can only go for it once. But there is a faster way to do that. This is the way I do it, and this is the way I recommend learning if you're planning on doing TPE as well, because you have Saroba in your party, meaning you have to run at this. You can't buffer up to it because you have the talk option on your bag. So it's really the same deal, but you just open the bag once you like reach that black spot. As you can see, also make sure you are holding left. You can't just move left a bit, because if you like don't move left enough, you either will stay in bounds, not get the skip, or you will get caught in the collision of the railing, which soft locks you. So make sure you are holding left. I do recommend, just like when you're starting out, doing gardener skip. However, it won't take long before you can start implementing greenhouse skip. I just don't recommend going for it when you're starting out, just because it's a skip you can really only try once before you start losing time to just doing gardener skip. If you want to, you can start going for it, and then if you miss it, just do gardener skip. That's what I do. That's what I did early on in TPE. In fact, I think that's in my current PB. But obviously, once you enter this room, there's a scripted televiz in the center here. Just run from that. And then start holding up left here. And then the Flowey cutscene here, you can just hold auto mash. There is like some tech you can do here. I don't actually really remember it. I don't go for it. It saves a tiny bit of time. So if you're interested, you can like look at a top level world record run just to see what it is. But when I go over here, interact with the Steamworks ID and immediately hit done. One thing you can't do, and this may be patched out in a future update, I would like to point out, currently I am running on 1.1. That is the most current patch at the time of this recording. If a new patch comes out and patch this, then you can do it. But basically, what you can't do is you can't have your mouse hovering over where done already is. If you do that, the game soft locks for some reason. I'm not sure why, but like, it's weird. So just hit done. You don't have to draw anything at all, and then just hit auto mash again. So do keep that in mind when you're doing runs. It may be patched in the future update. I'm not sure, but just don't have your mouse already hovering above done, or else the game soft locks. We'll run up through this room. Okay, this room, there is actually a very funny quirk in this room. So you know how earlier I mentioned that when there is a scripted encounter, there is a radius around said encounter where you can't get other encounters. That doesn't apply to the scripted encounter at the end of this room. So keep that in mind. You can get an encounter, a random encounter, and then immediately run into the scripted right after. So yeah, the scripted is right here. Sometimes you can actually get an encounter right before that. It is very funny when it does, although it is also slightly frustrating because that's just time loss. Especially because the scripted encounter does reset your step count. Alright, so there are a few skips in this room. I don't recommend you really try to focus on these at first, but I will try to show them off. I don't go for some of these, but there is a skip you can do here with the Flowey cutscene. You can't skip the cutscene entirely, but you can gain movement while it and save a bit of time there, but see if I can get it. Okay, yeah, right here, you know, you can just master Flowey's text for the cutscene, and then this basically just allows you to move over here. For starting out, I recommend you just walk into the cutscene, essentially. It really doesn't save too much time. So you want to pick up the CL right here, the chloride. Another skip you can do to gain movement with this, basically, auto mash a bit here. Basically, once you get movement with this menu open, essentially. And then just walk up, and then auto mash once that's in. This allows you to gain movement during like the sequence animation, saves a bit of time. And go ahead and put in the hydrogen. And then now we have the mixing minigame. This minigame can be a little weird for some people. I have struggled with it occasionally, but just solve this like normal. There's not really much you can do to speed this up. Alright, this third one is definitely the hardest. This is where most people mess up. I mess up here occasionally. I've lost a PB to messing this up. And there we go. Pick up the acid. And then walk up here. And then use the acid to acid the door. There is a way you can gain movement in this cutscene and cause access to sort of push you behind the screen transition to save a short amount of time, but it is very finicky, and from what I have heard, can also soft lock you, I think. I don't actually have a definitive answer for that, but I would say don't worry about it. It only saves about a second from what I've heard. Oops, yeah. And then you're gonna want to use your Steamworks ID right here. Walk out of the room. All right, so coming up, I think basically on the net, I don't actually go for the skip just because it's a little weird. So there's a Mailwell cutscene over here, and then this is basically how the game gives you the Martlet letter telling you to go to telling you to go to the Hotland Hotel roof. Basically, if you get this skip right here, you have to do it again later, right after exiting access, because the game has a separate check to give you that letter, just in case you aborted Pacifist or whatever. I don't recommend going for it. It only says about like 5 or 6 seconds, and you have to do it twice. I actually don't even know where the trigger for the second mail whale is. So, okay, yeah, it's right here essentially. But you know, you can just take the mail whale. It really doesn't lose that much time. I wouldn't really worry about it unless you're like really hurting for time save. So coming up here, auto mash here. Don't auto mash during this. There is, you'll just get stuck on info essentially. And take this mashing very carefully. You can get messed up here. Once you hit emergency shutdown, you can start holding auto mash. You can't hold auto mash before that because it's like the same deal as if you're trying to pick up the steel buckle with auto masher. It just, for some reason, doesn't work. All right, coming up here, there's a Flowey cutscene. Short Flowey cutscene. This also automatically saves your game, so you don't have to worry about that. And now we're going to skip access. So, this trigger is actually very easy to spot. It's like right here. I'm pretty sure it's like right here. Clover is basically directly centered with access if you want to buffer onto it. Yep, and then you'll go because you'll hear that sound effect. You have to master that dialogue, and there. You can also do this stopless, although if you are doing it stopless, I will say be aware. There is a weird piece of collision here, so I wouldn't recommend setting up your menu movement at the start of the room. Oh, I stopped a bit too early. Oops. Yeah. That's probably, honestly, the easiest skip. Also, it's probably the one I recommend you use if you want to practice doing bag glitch. There's a point here, you can just ignore it. And, alright, so, obviously, coming up, there's going to be the Flowey Fight. There is actually a reload you can do to save a bit of time. That requires, basically, you just open up a second copy of the game and leave it on the menu screen. Do not load the save file, just leave it on the save file screen or the Undertale Yellow title screen. You can open up at any point. I like to open up here in the elevator. So, you know, once Clover gets in the elevator, I go and open a second copy of the game. You won't be able to see it, but you will be able to hear it. And then I just leave it on the menu screen right here. Another funny thing you do, if you hold up right out of this elevator, you have a brief bit of movement and Clover will walk. It looks funny, it saves no time, it just looks funny, and I like doing it. So obviously you're gonna walk over here. There is a skip you can do with the Flowey cutscene here. It saves a very small amount of time and is like kinda a little stupid. especially because the amount of time it saves isn't really worth it if you aren't good at menuing to get movement with your menu. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. It is very small time save, but it is worth noting in case you want to get more times, unless you're looking for more places to save time. And obviously, we're gonna watch this cutscene with very fitting music from the menu. What is this? Yeah. There's just a lot of cutscenes here. This is probably, once you do the reload coming up, this is basically all cutscenes from here. Until the Froggy Fight actually starts. So yeah, okay, so, okay, so, pay attention here. Pay attention for when Flowey grabs the soul. I already have my mouse hovering over the X button, over the close button. Pay attention for Flowey grabs the soul. Once the screen goes fully white, close the game and then load the save file. So like that, load your save file, and then you're put here. This saves about like 5 seconds because the game doesn't have to fade back in or anything. And now from here, we have unskippable cutscenes. Yay, everyone's favorite. There's no way you can progress this dialogue any faster. So just sit back, take a break. If you're on PB pace, I don't know, stress about that. But yeah, there's not much to do here for the next few minutes. It's just Flowey being Flowey. I will say, don't, like, leave the room or something, or tab out of the game. There are small amounts of movement you have to do during this flashback. Very small amounts of movement, but, you know, you still have to, like, kinda pay attention at least. But obviously, there is no way to speed any of this dialogue up, unfortunately. So obviously here, you have to move to the switch yourself. So you just hold up right, interact with the switch, and then start holding right so you can immediately start pushing this rock. From here, you have a bit longer of a break before the next time you have to move. You know, just enjoy, like, either just, I don't know, take a sip of a drink, enjoy peak Flowey riding, I don't know, talk to a friend, check your Discord pings. But I will say, you don't have to leave. You just don't leave the room or anything. Because there is movement you have to do. This is basically, if any of you guys watching this know about, like, Deltarune Chapter 2 speedruns, this is basically this game's version of the Roaring. Except it's, like, 4 minutes long. It's not actually 4 minutes, probably goes to, like, 3 minutes or something, but... Alright, so there's a bit more movement coming up here. So I start holding left around here. So you want to hold left here, because then you will immediately walk into these spikes. I stand still here. I don't actually know what's faster here for the spears game, but I stand still and let a spear hit me. I don't know if there's any faster way to do that or not. Then here, hold left again. And there, that's basically all the movement you have to do during this cutscene, although by now the Flowey Fight is about to start. So obviously now the Froggy Fight's about to start. This fight is a little bit, it can be a little much, especially starting out. Dying can be very punishing, especially if you die near the end of a phase. Some of the attacks are hard to read. You know, easy mode does make you take less damage. Your damage here isn't actually based on your armor. The game ignores your armor entirely, but the +3 defense you get from easy mode does actually affect this fight. So, obviously now the fight has started. So, you know, dodge the bullets! And, you know, obviously absolute banger playing as well. Another one of my favorites. Alright, so, there is one thing to keep in mind. In the act menu, obviously none of these acts are going to work, but if you are getting, like, if you aren't really comfortable with this fight, I would recommend checking the act menu every turn. There are random acts that can show up here that will heal about, I think it's like 30% of your HP. So I do recommend checking the act menu every turn if you aren't comfortable with this fight at all. They can save you. They can save you. So other than that, just spare every turn. The attacks Flowey throws out are random. However, he can't throw out the same attack twice. So once an attack has been used in the fight, you won't see it again for the rest of the fight unless you die. So. Alright, resolve attack here. Alright. This attack will always show up on the 4th turn. It's 3 random Flowey attacks, and then the attacks of bosses you've killed. So, on that turn, you would see, if you had killed Decibat, you would see Decibat and then Dolv, and so on and so forth. So, the next turn is going to be the first, like, big full-screen attack, and then the first running phase. For the first full-screen attack, there's actually a very easy way to dodge all of it. It's called not moving. Very hard fight. You only get hit once. Alright, and then we have the running sections. There is RNG here in these running sections. Some of these are faster than others. This is actually the fastest running section you can get. The fastest set of running sections to get are Dark Ruins, Dunes, and Hotland. And then from then they're getting slower. Ruins, Waterfall, and then Steamworks is the slowest. There's about, I think, like 15 seconds of difference between the fastest combination and the slowest combination. So, my biggest recommendation during the running sections themselves, just keep moving. Most of the time, you will be outrunning the vines. So unless you are on really low health, I just recommend constantly moving. You can tank hits. But other than that, just, like, try to keep your health kind of high. I did actually lose a run last night to dying in the Flowey. It was a little sad because I was minus 40, but you know, it's whatever. I'll just run it back. This attack like that. Like that. Alright, and during the El Bailador attack, there was actually a safe spot right here. Like, right on this line. You can just stand there, and none of the bars will hit you. It's really funny. Alright, this attack also gets people kind of like to stay near the bottom. The hitboxes for the dynamite, they do actually expand outward, so you can actually get pretty close to them before they explode. Alright, then there's this attack. Fortunately, you have to move during this one to avoid getting hit, sadly. Alright, hello Waterfall, second slowest one. So yeah, I will say there is time you can lose here to taking wrong paths, so kind of just follow my path, sort of. This is how I do it, and this is like, I think pretty much the optimal path. I can't think of a faster way to do this. But yeah, as you can see, this one is pretty long. Alright, and now we're on the phase 3. This is the final phase. Luckily, you can only get 3 running sections, so That's where the RNG comes in. Once a running section, much like the attacks, once a running section has been completed, you can't see it again. I don't like this attack. I don't know how I didn't take damage there. Luckily, we don't have any dead boss attacks there because we didn't kill anybody in Steamwork. We skipped them all. So, yeah. And Hotland. I actually died here last night. This was the one that killed me. The pathways are very narrow, so it is very easy to get hit by vines. So, if you get Hotland and are low on health, try to play it a bit careful. Don't play it as recklessly as I did. Obviously, I went into this hack at like 70 health, so I'm good. Ow! I don't know how I didn't get hit there. Once you finish the third running section, hold right. Damage does not matter here. You're healed. You know, this is basically just a cutscene. Now we have a bit of a break before we get to Flowey Phase 2 and the end of the run. Clover, check out my new cut. So obviously this is just a cutscene. You know, much chill, you know. I love Amori, yeah. Welcome to Black Space. So yeah. This is I jokingly call this the Deltarune section because you're just holding right. Great reference to Deltarune Chapter 1 speedruns. You can't just hold right here and do nothing. You do kind of have to move up and down because these flowers do have hitboxes. And you can get caught on them if you're just center with the path. So you do kind of have to move up and down to not get caught. Yeah, there isn't really much you can do to speed this up. You are trapped to walking. You're just walking in a straight line. You can't open your menu. You know, you just kind of have to play it out. Fortunately, this is the last cutscene with lots of unskippable text, so... Alright, and now we're getting to everybody's favorite scene. So yeah, here movement is pretty simple. You know, just stay near the top. Once you get past this rock, you can just start hugging the wall. Obviously, you kind of want to cut the corner a bit. Clover automatically centers themselves, so just stay center with the path once you get there. Skip through Martlet's dialogue. Oh my god, she found us. So happy I found you. Dude, I love Amori. And yeah, now you can run again. I don't know why. You can't run before that, but now you can. Anyway, get on the raft and hold Automaster here. You can actually skip Flowey's upcoming dialogue. Sometimes I forget. But all the dialogue from here on out is skippable, thankfully. And we're coming up on Flowey Phase 2. Phase 2 is kind of hard to learn at first. especially because the checkpoints are way more unforgiving than the checkpoints in Omega Flowey and Undertale. The game will checkpoint every 2 intermissions, essentially. Every 2 specimen phases. So if you die at the end of your second specimen phase, you are losing a ton of time. But luckily, there are ways to make this easier. So, you have to focus a bit here. I recommend not holding Auto Masher during this fight. There's no text to skip anyway, but it can mess with certain things. Alright. Okay, first phase, you know, pretty simple. Get to listen to Afterlife, the absolute crowning banger of this game. Alright, so should be coming up here pretty soon. Don't actually remember how long some of these phases are. Alright, so right here, when Fly grabs your, just start mashing Z. And you should always end up in the mechanical phase every single time. So, press C to turn on auto fire immediately. Hug the... Okay, I was already on. Hug the top here. And then dash over here. Do not use charge shots in this phase. Charge shots are a scam. Do not use charge shots unless I'm telling you to explicitly use them. Because most of the time, they are losing time. Dodge the attack here. You have the... Once you get past that first specimen phase, you actually get your dash. You actually can use your dash outside of the shooting phases. It took me a while to realize that. Start mashing Z again, and you should end up in Patchwork. If you mash Z, you'll get the same phases in the same order. So obviously, once again, here, you don't need to charge shots. Just keep shooting. Dash. Make sure to use dash to optimize movement. Try your best to avoid things, but sometimes you're going to want to take damage. So yeah. Luckily, these sections are basically automated, so you just have to survive those. All right, so mashing Z, you'll get organic. Here, kind of stay close to this, and let your normal shots defeat it. And then once it disappears, charge, hug the top. Charge shots do so much damage on that because of how big the hitbox is. In fact, it might even be faster to use charge shots on, like, that bottom pedal, but I'm not actually sure. Just because it's pretty small. So, yeah. You can use the charge shots there. That's actually a place where they are useful and definitely save a bit of time. Alright, start mashing Z again. This will give you clay. And now here's where a bit of RNG comes in. So look for where the red vine is, hug the top, and just shoot it. It'll move once, okay, and move to the other side. If it stays on the same side, you can actually finish this phase really fast. So keep that in mind. So obviously do more dodging. Try your best not to take too much damage. But, you know, you do get healed after every phase. And this upcoming phase is probably the easiest specimen phase, in my opinion. So, paper. I think there's RNG here where the red part took place, so just look out for one and just hug the top and shoot it. This phase is really easy once you figure out what to do. So, just hug the top and just auto fire shoot them. Wonderful. Alright. And now Polygonal. This is the hardest phase, and also the other place where charge shots are really useful. Charge shots have a bigger hitbox, and you need to destroy 2 petals. So if you charge shot in the middle of these 2 petals, you can hit both at the same time, and it's actually really useful. Lets you do this phase so much faster. So, once you get here, just hug the top and just keep shooting. from here, charge shots don't really matter. Alright, and now you have to survive this one. This phase is longer than all of the other ones, and is definitely a real endurance. It's definitely an endurance test compared to everything else, especially if you aren't used to dodging. Luckily, there is a checkpoint set right at the start of this, so if you die, you aren't going to be losing too much progress, but that's still time loss. At least it's fair. Okay. Be careful here. You can die to these. I have died to this before on a PB pace run because I wasn't paying attention. So, like, do pay attention during these last bits. You can die here. And, you know, it would suck to die at literally the last possible moment. So, obviously, you know, Flowey's gonna be like, you. And he's gonna like, stare at you, you know. So, I'm actually going to not hold auto match during this coming cutscene just so I can explain where time stops. Right, okay. So, at the end of this cutscene, Flowey is going to burrow into the ground. Timing stops when Flowey's sprite is fully disappeared from the screen. If you have like something like auto split turned on, it'll do it for you, but if you don't, that is when timing ends. So, timing ends right there. And congratulations. That has been the neutral glitch speedrun for Undertale Yellow. I honestly do recommend this as like this is a really good starting category. The fights are pretty simple, pretty short. It's the best way to get used to the game's glitches. And also it's just a really fun route. Doing all the skips and scene work successfully feels really nice to pull off. So, honestly, like, if you're going to start speedrunning Undertale Yellow, I do highly recommend neutral. It is definitely my favorite category out of the 3 main categories. So, yeah. From here, you know, you can just watch the credits if you want, obviously. If you are planning to run this, I do recommend joining the Undertale Yellow speedrunning Discord. That is linked on our speedrun.com page. I will also link it in the description of this video. If you have any questions, you can ask in the Run Help channel there. If there are any strats I missed in this video for neutral, you can look in the new strats channel there to find out any strats. If you're also wanting to learn other categories, that's also a good place to look. Yeah, but I do recommend that we are a very, you know, we're a pretty small community comparatively, but we're active, we're very nice, we're very supportive. We really do want to have more people run this game. So, honestly, this is a really fun game to run, and that's why I made this tutorial, because I want more people to run this game. So, yeah. Other than that, if you enjoyed this guide, or just enjoyed watching the speedrun in general, subscribe to my channel. I speedrun a lot. You can also follow me on Twitch. That's where I stream my speedruns. But yeah. Also, no way, Shay in credits. I know him. He's my oomphy. And obviously, you know, not special. No thanks, the shufflers. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And, yeah, I hope you enjoy speedrunning this game. It's a lot of fun.